You are on the hook to balance the budget by 2015, but a lot of this budget seems to be based on hope, on economic projections and on assumptions that you can cut certain deals. Why are you so hopeful?
Well, it's based on the projections concerning economic growth by the private sector economists who use the average of their projections. And I meet with them, and they said to me that they think their projections are reasonable. They're really quite modest projections. We're talking about growth that's less this year than they anticipated. But when you get into 2014-15, it gets better, especially on nominal GDP, which is real GDP plus inflation.
But
that's
they've been
usually
wrong before.
important. Well, yes, and they've been right before, too. I mean, that's why we'd like to use the average rather than any particular economist. What we've done is we've reduced the deficit by more than half since 2009. We're on track to balance it in the medium term, which is 2015. We are going after the tax loopholes. We have flatlined our own government spending in Ottawa from 2010 to now and going forward. This isn't something we're dreaming about. We've already accomplished it.
You know that this week might be remembered as much for the phone calls to the banks as for this budget, and you've been criticized all week. Do you still think it was a good idea?
Well, I'd rather talk to you about economic growth than that, but, you know, I remember in August 2007, Hank Paulson, the Secretary of the Treasury of the United States, calling me at home in Whitby on a Sunday afternoon and telling me that they had just discovered the subprime mortgage crisis in the United States. All right? I don't ever want to see that in this country. We have to be very careful about ensuring that the insured mortgages, the mortgages that we insure as taxpayers in Canada, are all solid. And so I watch the market, and I try to ensure that we don't have a race to the bottom in interest rates.
So it sounds on one hand like you're very optimistic about the economy, and on the other hand, you're terrified about the real estate market.
Well, we have to watch. I mean, we have to watch all things. We watch other things as well. I watch consumer credit, credit card credit. We watch all kinds of indicators in the economy. And then, of course, we take all of that into consideration when we make budget moves, when we create different initiatives. What we see now in Canada is we see a mismatch of skills. We see a lot of young people in particular who don't have the skills for the jobs that are available. This is all across the country, which is why the Canada Job Grant is one of the big stories coming out of the budget today.
This was your 8th budget. There's been speculation it could be your last. Have you had enough?
Well, I like to finish what I started. You know, we had to do the huge deficit budget back in January 2009, which was a very difficult thing for a fiscal conservative like me to do. But we're more than halfway there, back to balanced budget. I'd like us to finish the job to complete the program.
And you tell us, right, if you're planning on leaving.
It's always up to the Prime Minister.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.